Hi, this is your girl Elsie Clemens, and I'm here with I'm just recording a couple videos. The first one being this AuthorTube tag, because Alicia Josey decided it was gonna be funny during my revision stage of the game with my NaNoWriMo draft to tag me for, what is this thing called? The Fearless Writer tag. So I'm responding to that video, and I'm gonna tag somebody else. But let's get started so at least I get that part finished. The first question is lies. What is the biggest fallacy you've been telling yourself with writing and / becoming a writer? The biggest fallacy I tell myself is I'm going to be that full-time writer who does nothing but write books. What I mean by that, sorry, my camera's acting up. What I mean by that particular statement is the way everything's going in the economics, in the writing world, unless I become that J.K. Rowling chick who pretty much makes has so much popularity and money right out the gate, I can't just I guess I should rephrase that. I thought I could just quit and become a full-time writer, and with me trying to do ebooks and stuff, I found out quickly that is not the case. It costs money even to be a traditional writer. That stuff does take money and time, so I still need to work to pay for being a full-time writer. So the biggest lie I told myself was, oh, I could just quit and just do this for a living. No, nah, it don't work like that. You have to fund it. You have to pay an editor. You have to pay, sometimes you have to pay beta readers. I'm not sure. I'm still not on the level of setting my draft to a beta reader, so I don't know. There's also the case of paying a designer. There's so many levels of stuff that needs to be financially paid and marketing and stuff that I can't just quit a full-time job. Ironically enough, I am losing my job, but that's a story for another video. Starting new. Does the first draft scare you or motivate you? Both. My first draft scares me and motivates me because the first draft motivates me to actually get the thing done. I have to, get the thing done. And you can't get it done if you don't write. But it scares me because I have a gazillion fan fiction writer ideas floating around in my head. So I have to, as one AuthorTuber states, separate my fan fiction from my book writing. There are certain tropes that work in fan fiction that don't work in book writing, and I have to separate the two, so it kind of scares me and this is why I kind of stopped writing fan fiction, that I was taking those fan fiction tropes and adding them in my first draft, and then when I reread them, this is not this particular book, it was a different book I was reading, and I went, oh my god, what the hell was I thinking doing this? And it scared me to know that I had the capabilities of doing that, but I kind of overcame them and said, you know what, I'm going to stop writing fan fiction. I mean, it's not like I'm going to stop writing fan fiction for good, but I'm going to stop at this moment because all it's doing is it's hindering me rather than helping me. Roadblock. What is your number one obstacle stopping yourself from writing? Well, one is my self-confidence, and the other one is having a full-time job and finding time to write. Now, that's probably an oxymoron to say finding time to write, because you should always set aside time to write. But there are other things I'm doing. I work full-time for now. I spend time with my husband, he's a very affectionate person, and I love him for it. But that's one of the things that we established in our marriage, that I would, spend time with him and not, set him aside like an old ragdoll. I decided that a long time ago when I married him. I also stream on Twitch, but I only do that for like 2 hours a day. I don't do it long. I try not to do longer than 2 hours because, one, an hour and a half is already tiring to talk to yourself, especially when you only have like one viewer. But the other thing is, you don't want to get into the habit of being addicted to just being on Twitch all the time. I also do my podcast, which means I have to set aside time to write the script to do the podcast episode. Like the last episode I just did, which I'll add a title card so you guys can see what I linked. That actually took me a good chunk amount of time, only because one, I need a new computer, and so it kind of slowed everything down. But adding on beats and scenes to that particular video did take hours, and it took just 3 hours just to buffer, add up, to sync up the audio, and then publish it. And I'm hoping to God this audio is still linked, synced up, because that's gonna drive me bananas, because it took me 2 or 3 tries before I could get that done. So I have a lot on my plate. Now, my husband already said, honey, maybe you should take off the Twitch streaming. I just started Twitch streaming, and Twitch streaming is not that hard, especially because I hook up the cord to my Xbox. I don't have a webcam. I mean, I have a webcam, obviously. This is the Samsung Galaxy phone I'm using to record this, but the webcam, for some reason, I think it's because Xbox is being biased and they want everybody to jump onto Mixer. They've made it so you have to jump on a Mixer just to use the webcam features to work properly. And when I tried to use the webcam, it just kind of lagged the crap out of my stream, so I just kind of cut the whole thing, which is fine. You know, that leaves up less cords to be sticking out my Xbox, and it gives me more room to work. But you know, it's one of those learning curves that you have to work with. You know, but it's, you know, it's not, the Twitch streaming really isn't that much of a roadblock when you think about it, but life itself is the biggest roadblock, especially when you're in a committed relationship. You have obligations you have to do. Writing isn't and I know it's sacrilegious to say this in the writing community, but writing isn't the only thing you have to do. When you're married, you have marital duties, and I'm not just talking about that. I'm not just talking about sex, okay? I'm talking about there are other stuff that goes into marriage. So I'm just gonna go past this part. Let's move on to number 4. Reflect. How can you overcome the obstacle? Okay, I'm gonna be really honest here. A lot of the obstacles, some of which are self-inflicted, but the marriage obstacle is not self-inflicted. I overcome an obstacle by sitting down rules of how many hours a day basically I write. So my husband knows, hey, I'm gonna do 2 hours of writing. You can't, even though it's in the bedroom, and like I'm recording in the bedroom and I write in my bedroom because I have a desk specifically for writing. He knows that for those 2 hours, hey, go play a game, go play your Switch or something, or do something else for about 2 or 3 hours while I get this done. Like right now I'm recording, so my husband's out there playing Civilization. So he's gonna play Civilization while I'm recording, and that kind of overcomes that roadblock because he knows he has to take time to himself. That's his me time, basically. Number 5. Perfection. How can you challenge yourself to get past the perfectionism/procrastination trap? That's a mental thing. That is truly, truly mental. I had to learn that in the 6 years I've been working at my job. I had to learn that there's no such thing as perfect. And procrastination kind of makes you look like an idiot. So, it's probably harsh to say procrastination makes you look like an idiot. It actually makes you lazy and an idiot. But that comes from working in the customer service business field world. You cannot procrastinate on certain things. It comes back to haunt you. Because of the job I do, people have my extension. I have to work at something at a certain time, or they're going to keep calling me and screaming at me because I didn't give them what they wanted. So to eliminate that problem, I had to work on the task at hand right then, right there, and be done with it. And that's the same in the writing world. There's no such thing as the perfect book. There are plenty of writers out there, and there are plenty of analysts out there who've already said there's no such thing as the perfect book, and all storylines have been done. And it's true, all storylines have been done. They all have been done. So the thought, it's all mental, pretty much. You can't say, everybody, I'm not saying, if you want to write a book in a certain genre and do the same, check off the boxes of the trope, that's fine. What I'm saying is, do not say you have the perfect book. Because some person out there, and this is what I'm learning from my grandmother, used to tell me, there's no such thing as the most intelligent person, or the luckiest person, or the best singer, or what have you, because there's always going to be someone out there who may be better than you. And that's true in the writing world. There's always going to, and I'm not discouraging anybody from, I'm probably messing this up. I'm not discouraging anybody from writing, but there may be someone who's better at something than you are when it comes to writing. I'm not great sometimes at the dating scenes, because there's one scene in particular where they're supposed to be dating. I'm not good at that. There are certain sex scenes I'm not good at. But there's going to be someone who's going to write better dialogue and romance and sex better than me. But it's not like I'm going to stop doing it, because that's a part of the story. I'm going to keep trying at it, because that's what you're supposed to do. Part of writing is to mold your craft. How are you going to mold your craft if you're busy trying to be a perfectionist and copying them, let's say, Natalie Lee or By the Brook or Kate Cavanaugh? How are you going to do that if you're emulating them instead of making your own craft? So the point I'm trying to make is, you can't, being a perfectionist is a waste of time and mental space. You're not going to have the perfect book. I bet you the first book I publish, I'm probably going to forget a dot and I across the T. Well, not across the T because it's all going to be typed, but I'm probably going to forget a grammatical error by forgetting to put a comma in or forgetting to put an indentation in. It's going to happen. So the thing to be a perfectionist is it's going to be counterproductive of what you want to do. So I learned to challenge myself a long time ago in life in general. I had to learn to overcome that block, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to be better at something than you are. And it's just pointless just to think, oh, I'm not saying don't work on the craft, mind you. I'm saying don't focus on it. It doesn't serve your purpose. All it does is just make you, it just makes you fall apart, and then ultimately debilitate you from the craft that you're passionate about. So, don't do it. It's not worth it. Number 6, failure sucks. How do you grow from a failure? This is actually a very good question. When I wrote my first book, this is back when I was like 19, and I knew nothing about the writer world. I wrote my first draft, which is pretty much at this point when I reread it, is pretty much a Walking Dead fanfiction, because I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead. I still am. I just prefer the comics over the TV show. And I thought, this is the greatest book ever. Let me take it to a small publisher. That small publisher ripped my draft apart, and I literally, and this is back when he was my husband, my boyfriend, not my husband. I literally just told him about it, fell down myself, and started crying. And my husband had this look on his face. He's like, okay, you failed. Try again. And I'm like, no, I don't want to try again. And I had a long history when I was especially growing into adulthood. Now in my 30s, I see things a lot differently than I did in my 20s and my teens. I hated failure. I had a huge fear of failure, because I felt like, because the way I guess I was raised, if you fail, you suck. That's it. It's over. Don't try again. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You failed. That's it. You ain't good at it. Just drop your stuff and go. But no. The fear, I had a huge fear of failure, and it took me a long time to overcome it, but I overcame it by the fact of my mental state. I had to get to the point where, you know what, if I fail, I fail. The point is, I tried. Because the worst thing you could do is, not try and fail by not trying. Because there is a thing called failure by not trying. You're not trying, so how do you expect to overcome your fear of failure if you don't even try? Get out there, fail miserably, get off your feet, and try again. That's the point of, that's part of the writing process. You're gonna fail at something. You might have 20 different rejections from small publishers before you even get the one that decides to take a chance on you. So you grow from the failure by trying again. You have to keep doing it. You got to keep trying, because you know what? Eventually you're gonna have one person. It's just like going into the working world. The one thing that stresses me out about looking for work again. I hate it because I'm getting rejected every time you turn around, but guess what? I got to keep trying. There's no way that you're going to tell me, I've got to the point in my life where it's like, you got to tell me no. There was a higher position at my job that I really, really wanted, but because of certain flaws, I couldn't get that position. I was hurt, but at the same time, I got over it, because you know what? the point was I tried, and it was like, you have to tell me no. You are going to have to tell me no before you know, I'm not going to just, you know, not try. They had to tell me no, and they told me the reason why. I'm not going to explain because that's the working role, not the writing role. But the point is, and it's something like I said, you have to learn. You have to tell me no. So yes, failure blows. I hate it, but guess what? The point is, I tried. And how you going to try if you have a fear of failure? Number 7, rejection sucks. How do you learn/grow from rejection? Okay, this should just be under failure sucks, because failure and rejection kind of go hand in hand. As I reiterated before, you got to tell me no. I'm not just going to, you know, just accept, oh, I'm just going to suck. You have to tell me I suck. You know why? Because you spend your whole time focusing on the rejection, you never get the fear. Well, you focus on the fear of rejection, you're never going to get done. And my book, that first book I wrote, got rejected once. I hated it, but then, as my husband has encouraged me to keep trying. Jobs have rejected me. I have to keep trying. There's something I gotta do to make things better, and that's the point. I can't just sit on my fat behind and, you know, wish stuff to happen and hope that I never get rejection. It sucks. It's like this worst. It's like something digs inside you, you know, your negativity worms inside of you and goes, I'm gonna bury here and I'm gonna stay here. Because you know what? I'm gonna keep you in that feeling because that's how I want you to feel. No, you know, failure, rejection, kind of the same thing. I don't really want to go into that again, but you just kind of deal with it. You deal with it. You tell yourself, hey, you know what? I got rejected. I'm gonna keep doing it again. I'm gonna keep doing this, and I'm gonna reread and rewrite to see if there's any type of flaw that keeps it. You know, and when it comes to rejection, in writing world, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's the market. I'm starting to find out. Like when I wrote my zombie book, which is pretty much Walking Dead fan fiction, the market was already oversaturated with zombie stories. So of course they were gonna reject it. And I wish I'd known that back. You know, took my little communication arts degree and remember that back when I was 19. Yeah, of course they're going to reject that crap. You know why they're going to reject that crap? Because The Walking Dead has taken over everything. There's Walking Dead TV show, Walking Dead comic books, Walking Dead wine. Well, now there's Walking Dead wine at the store. There's Walking Dead video games. Telltale ones are my favorite Walking Dead games. Those are awesome. Then you got 24 Days Later. You got Resident Evil making a comeback on an awful manner. You got the Resident Evil games. You got Return of the Living Dead. There's so much zombie crap that the market's already oversaturated. And I think my stupid self decided, let's go and do another zombie story. Yeah, of course they're gonna reject it. Of course they're gonna reject it. Why the heck did I think that was gonna get rejected? You know, that's the market. And yes, rejection totally sucks in that regard. But maybe you should just shelf, you know, if you've written this book, I'll say it like this. If you've written this book 3 or 4 times and you're in an oversaturated market, let's say you do a vampire book. You might be able to get away with doing a vampire book right now because vampires are kind of out. But let's say vampires were in and you decide to publish a book, you might have to shelve it for a bit until the market dies down with it before going back to it. So yeah, rejection sucks, but sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it is you, and sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's the market. It's just the way the market works. That's part of marketing 101. Create action. Number 8. Create action. How do you keep moving toward your goals? That is a great question. How do I move toward my goals? Well, you have to keep motivated. I literally look at the clock. If I see, oh, it's about 2 o'clock, so from 2 to 4, let's say I schedule my day and say from 2 to 4, this is my writing segment. Turn off the internet, turn off my games, turn off email, just put on Spotify or iTunes music and just listen to that. Listen to a certain soundtrack while I'm writing. That keeps me motivated. The fact that my husband keeps me motivated is one of the greatest things, because he'll remind me in a heartbeat when I complain about my job and I said, oh my God, I didn't do this. Oh my God, why? My husband's like, aren't you trying to be a writer? Why do you worry about that? Don't worry about the writing. Don't worry about the job, certain promotions and stuff. Worry about your writing. Yeah, it's good to have somebody who motivates you. It also helps to motivate yourself to remember every single day, hey, I'm trying to be a writer. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing all this other stuff? Your primary goal is to be the writer. And yes, I know it's probably very contradictory to say, considering I'm doing Twitch streaming, I do podcasting, but the Twitch streaming takes 2 hours a day and I just plug in something in the podcast. In hindsight, considering how many people actually watch the video and listen on Spreaker, I'm fine with it. It's not the 100% priority. The point is to keep your brain in mind. I even write down my desk. Your goal is to be a writer. Stop worrying about everything else. That's the greatest thing to do. Is like, remember, you're supposed to be a writer. You're supposed to be a writer. Stop. I'm literally putting, because this is what my brain sometimes tells me. Stop worrying about everything else. Stop it. Stop it. Number 9, New Year, New Outlook. If fear wasn't holding you back, what would you be doing right now to further your... If fear wasn't holding you back, what would you be doing right now to further your writing dreams? Well, if fear wasn't holding me back right now, to be honest, I would have quit working full time. But the world doesn't work like that. My husband works in mental health. Mental health does not always pay the bills. So guess what? Wife has to work. So it's not so much fear holding me back. It's more of the reality of the fact that I am in my 30s. I'm a grown working adult. And guess what? Both husband and wife have to work. I don't live the lifestyle of a lot of some of the YouTubers I've seen on film who ultimately kind of irritate the crap out of me, because I was like, oh, I'm good to be a housewife. I live this perfect life, when I know, in fact, they don't live this perfect life, and their houses are so pristine. You're going, oh my God, this is too... I'm rambling right now, but I think because I'm thirsty, but you go, oh my God, there's no way. Stop it. Be real with yourself. Stop it. That's how I feel about that. It's not so much a fear holding me back, it's just circumstances are beyond my control. I have to pay bills. I still got to pay off my student loans. I got 4 years left for public service loan forgiveness, so, I might as well push that out and be done at 34 or 35 and finally write my first book at 40. I mean, hell, some writers didn't write until they were like 98 years old, so why not? You have time. It's not like you're going to run out of time, you're going to have time. Now, if I didn't have to worry about my public service and I didn't have to worry about paying bills, yeah, I would be just home writing. I'd be like Brian Sanderson. I'd be writing all day long and going on Word and creating, which I probably should do after I wrap up this video, work on my timeline. Wow, I got quiet real fast. No, I think I would be like Brian Sanderson and just be, streaming for 4 or 5 hours and writing, world building. I would just be doing that all day long if, with number 9. Number 10, Leap of Faith. What is the one thing you plan to do this year, even though it scares you? Finish that second draft. Dear God, I'm finally going to finish the second draft. Second drafts scare me because, one, I've never really gotten past the first draft stage. And number 2, I'm at a stressful time in my life where it seems like everything can and will go wrong, but I'm gonna keep doing it because that's life. Stuff sometimes can and will go wrong, and you have to keep trying at it. It scares me to write that second draft because you work hard, especially during NaNoWriMo, to get those 50,000 words, but then when you get through the book, you get through the sludge of what you read, you realize how much padding you really put in your book. You put tons of padding. You have to hope to God it all makes sense. So there's stuff I have to work on, and it does scare me, but I'm gonna keep doing it. You know why I'm gonna do it? Because that's part of the writing process. You can't just give up. And that's what I'm gonna end that part with. You just can't give up, because I feel like I'm gonna go on a total tangent, which is not meant for this video, it's meant for a different video, so I'm gonna cut it here. Now I have to tag someone, and jeez, you guys are... At least it's not a small YouTuber. I don't have to worry about that. I think I'm going to tag Kate Cavanaugh because I love her videos. And I'm going to leave the link in her description below. And I'm just going to end on that AuthorTube tap note. Bye-bye.